On a rainy day in City J outside a hospital, people moved about with umbrellas and raincoats. Among them stood a lone figure without an umbrella, holding a report. Li Haoran is an ordinary man with a painful past. When he was just 6 years old, his parents died during a battle between evolved beings and mutant beasts. After their death, Haoran and his younger sister were shuffled between relatives, growing up in a cold and unwelcoming environment. But hardship didn't end there. Haoran was struck by the mutant disease, a deadly illness caused by the energy of extra-dimensional beings. This energy slowly eats away at the body, leading to paralysis and, eventually, death. For some, the disease takes only a few days to claim their life, while others suffer for years. Yet, no one has ever survived it. Faced with this grim reality, Haoran felt hopeless, but thoughts of his sister and his mother's final wish gave him strength. Determined to fight for his life, he vowed to keep going, no matter how impossible the odds seemed. A few days later, on the outskirts of City J, a team of 6 gathered in a dense jungle. Leading the group was Chen Zizhen, known as Lightning Wind, a powerful evolved being at the superior steel level. He stood before his team, ready to brief them on their mission. Chen Zizhen began by confirming that everyone was present. He then explained that their mission was to hunt down and eliminate a group of level 1 mutant beasts that had been attacking residents in the area. According to reports, dozens of these beasts had been spotted nearby, and their nests needed to be destroyed. Chen Zizhen assured his team that level 1 beasts were no match for them as long as they followed his orders. He emphasized that sticking to the plan would ensure a smooth and successful mission. Once he finished, he asked if there were any questions. Hearing none, he declared it was time to move out. The team leader turned to Li Haoran and reminded him that he was the only member of the team who hadn't evolved. As the group's carrier, Chen Zizhen asked if Haoran understood his role. Haoran, who was carrying a large bag, nodded confidently and explained his responsibilities. For an ordinary human like him, joining a hunting squad was only possible as a carrier. His job wasn't to fight, but to stay with the team, manage the supplies, and ensure everything ran smoothly. After the battle, he would also be responsible for collecting valuable materials from the defeated beasts. Placing a hand on his chest, Haoran assured Chen Zizhen that he knew what he was doing. With that, the team moved forward, Haoran ready to fulfill his role despite not being an evolved fighter. After some time, the team encountered a group of goblins. Chen Zizhen launched a sneaky attack, swiftly killing one goblin, while another was taken down by a muscular team member who smashed its head with his fist. A mage and a swordsman teamed up to eliminate another goblin, and the last one, holding a hammer, had its hand cut off by a sword-wielding girl. The group was easily overpowering the goblins, and the hunt seemed to be going smoothly. Li Haoran, carrying a large bag, watched from the sidelines. He thought to himself how ordinary humans and evolved beings were worlds apart in strength. Just as he was reflecting on this, a sudden earthquake interrupted his thoughts. The ground shook violently. Trees were uprooted, and a massive level 5 mutant beast, a titan snake, emerged from the earth. It was likely drawn by the blood of the goblins. The team froze in fear and confusion as they stared at the enormous creature. They had been told only level 1 beasts were in the area, and this was far beyond what they were prepared to face. Realizing the danger, Li Haoran shouted, "What are you waiting for? Run! If you stay here, you'll die!" The team snapped out of their shock and began to flee. However, the titan snake was incredibly fast, and it quickly closed in on them. Seeing no way to outrun the beast, Chen Zizhen made a cold and calculated decision. He slashed Li Haoran and declared, "You're the least valuable here, so you're the best option for bait. I read your file. You were diagnosed with the mutant disease not long ago, and you don't have much time left to live. Before you die, why not do something useful for us? Blame yourself for being too weak." With that, he used his powers to throw Li Haoran toward the titan snake, which its head turned toward. Li Haoran's. As the snake lunged toward him, Li Haoran's mind flashed to his mother's dying words. "Haoran, Mom won't be able to take care of you anymore. Promise me something. No matter what happens, you must take care of your sister. Stay strong and survive." In that final moment, a red screen appeared before him asking if he wanted to survive. With his last breath, Li Haoran whispered, "I want to survive." Suddenly, a strange magical circle formed around him, and a red beam of light teleported him away, leaving the titan snake and the team behind. In an unknown area, a red beam of light descended from the sky. As the light faded, Li Haoran found himself standing there, utterly confused. He thought to himself, "What's happening? I should be dead. Why am I here? My wounds are gone, and what's with this strange clothing? Was it because of that red light I saw before dying?" As he looked around, his eyes fell on a group of hungry succubi staring at him with excitement. The succubi were clearly thrilled and impressed by Nico, who had apparently used an ancient scroll to summon a man. They couldn't contain their excitement over Li Haoran's appearance, praising his handsomeness, perfection, and the powerful magical aura he seemed to radiate. Some of them expressed disbelief that the scroll had actually worked, while others were practically giddy with anticipation. They chattered among themselves, marveling at how long it had been since they'd seen such a perfect man. Their excitement was palpable, and they couldn't wait to play with him. Li Haoran, however, was completely shocked. He thought, where am I? What's going on here? Why are there so many succubi? And can't they see this? His eyes were fixed on a red screen that had appeared in front of him. It displayed his new status. Player status. Class Blood God. Level 1. Title None. Race Vampire. HP 100. MP 100. Strength 10. Endurance 10. Intelligence 10. Agility 10. Spirit 10. Li Haoran stared at the screen, trying to process what was happening. As Li Haoran focused on the mysterious red screen in front of him, a level 3 mutant beast, a succubus named Nico, stepped forward. She nervously explained that she was the one who had used an ancient summoning circle to bring him here. When the ritual was activated, the heavens and earth trembled, and an overwhelming surge of powerful magic erupted. The sheer intensity of the ritual had terrified her and the others. Nico, now convinced of Li Haoran's immense strength due to the extraordinary reaction caused by the summoning, she swore absolute loyalty, declaring that she would never betray him for all eternity. At that moment, the red screen flashed with a new notification. Notification: you've gained your first follower. Li Haoran, still trying to make sense of everything, now had a loyal follower in Nico, though he remained unsure of what this new reality meant for him. Li Haoran was still processing the sudden appearance of the red screen and the notification about gaining his first follower. He glanced at Nico's status, which displayed name Nico, race succubus, age 18, mutant beast level, 3rd level, characteristics, desire to become stronger, and an innate admiration for the powerful, affinity level, 88%. Another notification popped up, attention. When a follower's affinity reaches 100%, they can be added to the harem, and a mysterious reward will be granted. It was at that moment Li Haoran realized the truth. He had been reborn thanks to this mysterious system before him. He had gained power far greater than that of the evolved, the blood demon god's system. For the first time, he had the means to seek revenge and change his fate. Nico, noticing his distracted expression, asked, "Sir, what's wrong? Why do you look so excited? And why are you touching the air? Is it because you've slept for too long and feel uncomfortable? Do you want to move around a bit?" Li Haoran replied, "Exactly, I want to move a bit." Nico, misunderstanding his intentions, blushed and said, "If you need to touch something, then please, touch my body. If it helps you relax, it would be an honor for me. Even though this is my first time." Before she could finish, other succubi interrupted, each vying for his attention. One said, "How shameless, Nico. Let me take the lead." Another added, "I'll do everything I can to please you. This kind of thing should be left to me. My breasts are bigger and comfier." Li Haoran quickly raised his hands and said, "Hold on, I have no intention of taking advantage of any of you. Are all succubi this eager?" Just then, a system notification appeared. Nico's affinity has dropped to 85%. Nico looked hurt and asked, "What's happening? Is my body not of interest to you?" Li Haoran panicked internally. He realized that affinity was a crucial function of the system, and if he wanted to harness its power for revenge, he needed to maximize his affinity with his followers. Thinking quickly, he said, "It seems you've misunderstood me. You're beautiful. All of you are beautiful. I've never seen women as special as you." The system immediately responded, "Nico's affinity has increased to 90%. Nico blushed and stammered, "Really? If you keep talking like that, you'll make me feel embarrassed." Li Haoran, trying to steer the conversation away, said, "But I've just been summoned by you, and I haven't adapted yet. I need energy." Without hesitation, Nico revealed her neck and said, "Energy, since you're the blood demon god, as long as you have blood, you can recover. Come on, drink as much as you want from me. It's an honor that my blood flows within you." As Li Haoran's fangs instinctively sharpened, he felt a surge of anxiety. "Wait, what's happening to me? Why do I feel this overwhelming urge? Is this the natural instinct of my vampire lineage? It seems I can't control myself." As Li Haoran bit into Nico's neck, she let out a soft moan. The system immediately notified him that Nico's affinity has increased to 92%. Li Haoran felt a strange connection forming between them, as though they were now united in some profound way. Another notification popped up. "Congratulations! You have acquired a new skill, blood fusion. Attributes increased, strength +1. Li Haoran was stunned. A new skill? So this is how it works? He quickly checked the skill's details. Skill list, blood fusion. Passive skill? When absorbing a woman's fresh blood, you'll randomly gain an attribute point. Each target can only trigger this effect once. Li Haoran's eyes widened in realization. This skill lets me gain attribute points without leveling up. Even if the points are random, if I have enough targets, I can accumulate a significant amount of attributes. This skill is incredibly powerful. Fueled by this discovery, Li Haoran turned to Nico and said, "Nico, I need more blood." Nico, still in a daze, replied, "Come on, let's keep going. You can drink as much as you want from me." But Li Haoran shook his head. "No, not just your blood. I need the blood of the others too. Women's blood. The more, the better." The other succubi, who had been watching intently, reacted with a mix of surprise and excitement. One asked, "What, us too?" Another chimed in, "Is this a new kind of game? Sounds exciting." A third succubus, clearly envious, said, "Seeing Nico like that makes me so jealous. I want to do it too. I can't wait any longer." Li Haoran, sensing their eagerness, said, "If you have no objections, then come on, all together." The succubi eagerly gathered around him, each offering their neck. Li Haoran, now fully embracing his new abilities, began to drink from them one by one. With each bite, he felt his strength growing, and the system continued to reward him with attribute points. One succubus lay on the ground, trembling with pleasure, and exclaimed, "Incredible! I've never experienced anything so thrilling. Even though the bite hurt a little, my heart is about to burst with excitement." Another succubus, also trembling, added, "It's as if my soul and the masters have formed a deep connection. I feel like I've reached enlightenment." Li Haoran, observing their reactions, thought to himself, "Perfect. Every succubus here has activated the blood fusion skill. Thanks to them, I've gained a huge amount of attributes, but I only bit their necks. Isn't their reaction a bit exaggerated? Do succubi really have such sensitive bodies?" Around him, a large number of succubi lay on the ground, trembling with pleasure. The system notifications kept popping up. System notification. The succubus's affinity has increased. Under the glow of a crescent moon in Succubus Town, Nico quietly slipped into a small, cozy house. She tiptoed to a king-sized bed where she expected to find Li Haoran, her master. Earlier, there had been too many people around, and she hadn't gotten the chance to spend time alone with him. Now she was determined to make up for it. As she climbed onto the bed, Nico whispered, "Master Haoran, I'm here. It's just the two of us now. You can give it your all tonight. Let me become a real succubus." Her heart raced as she thought about the thrilling sensation she'd felt when he bit her neck earlier. She'd been obsessed with it ever since, craving a deeper connection with him. But as she sat down, something felt off. The sensation beneath her wasn't what she expected. Confused, she lifted the blanket, only to find a log roughly the size of Li Haoran lying in his place. Her excitement turned to disappointment in an instant. With a heavy sigh, Nico muttered, "Have you already found something more important than me?" Her voice was tinged with both frustration and sadness. In the dead of night, deep within a cemetery surrounded by towering trees, Li Haoran stood amidst the graves. He was reviewing his status, marveling at the improvements he had made in just one day. His screen displayed, name, Li Haoran, race, vampire, level, 1, title, none, occupation, blood demon god, HP 520, MP 500, HP and MP increased from 100, strength 56, spirit 50, endurance 52, agility 43, intelligence 48, which was increased from 10. Li Haoran clenched his fists, feeling the surge of power coursing through him. Though his level was still low, his attributes had skyrocketed after a full day of absorbing blood. He knew he had to seize every opportunity for real combat to grow stronger. His ultimate goal was clear: to level up and take revenge on Chen Zizhen, the man who had betrayed him. The cemetery was eerily quiet, but Li Haoran could sense the dark energy swirling around him. Based on his experience with hunting squads, he knew places like this were often inhabited by undead mutant beasts. If he unleashed his magical energy, he could lure them out. It was the perfect chance to test his newfound strength. Li Haoran stood in the eerie silence of the cemetery, his aura flaring with determination. As his energy rippled through the air, a small blue flame ignited, spreading across the graveyard before coalescing into the form of a ghostly, hourglass-figured girl. The specters, known as Level 1 mutant beast faceless specters, began to materialize, their hollow voices echoing. "Who is it? Who has disturbed our eternal rest? It's you! It's you!" Their eerie cries filled the air as they swarmed toward him. One of the specters lunged at Li Haoran, screaming, "Die!" But before it could reach him, Li Haoran's fist shot out, smashing into its face. He sneered, "A level 1 mutant beast trying to kill me." More specters flew at him, their cries of "die" filling the air, but Li Haoran remained calm. With precise movements, he dispatched them one by one, punching one in the stomach and slamming another into the ground. Each kill was accompanied by a system notification. Experience increased. Soon, a new message flashed. "You've leveled up. You've gained 5 attribute points. Please assign them." Ignoring the prompt, Li Haoran accelerated his attacks, his movements a blur as the specters began to flee in terror. But their attempts to escape were futile. He hunted them down with ruthless efficiency. As the faceless specters fell, the system chimed again. "You've unlocked a new skill, Crimson Flash. This skill allows you to perform 2 short dashes within 5 seconds. The crescent moon hung high above, casting an eerie glow over the cemetery now littered with the remains of the specters. Another notification appeared. "You've reached level 8. Please assign your attribute points." Li Haoran wiped the sweat from his brow, a grin spreading across his face. Is this what it feels like to fight mutant beasts the way the evolved do? It feels incredible. I'm no longer that despised baggage carrier. He quickly reviewed his system stats, deciding to allocate his points to strength and endurance, the attributes that would enhance his combat effectiveness the most. With the new agility skill Crimson Flash, this should be a pretty reasonable distribution, he thought, feeling a surge of confidence. But his moment of triumph was short-lived. A sudden danger warning flashed across his vision. Li Haoran spun around just in time to see a massive level 2 mutant beast, Butcher, swinging a colossal butcher sword at him. He dodged the attack with a swift leap, the blade slamming into the ground with enough force to shatter the earth. A level 2 mutant beast? Despite its enormous size, it's not slow at all, he thought, his heart racing. Before he could catch his breath, another butcher appeared, hurling a massive chain in his direction. Li Haoran dodged again, but the impact of the chain shattered the ground where he had stood moments before. He quickly retreated, his mind racing. The faceless specters' names were in green, meaning they weren't a challenge, but the butchers' names are in yellow. Does that mean they're formidable enemies for me? Despite the danger, Li Haoran's resolve hardened. Fate has given me a second chance. No matter who stands in my way, I must defeat them. The two butchers advanced, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Li Haoran braced himself, ready to face the formidable foes head-on. The butcher's eye gleamed with malice as it swung its massive sword vertically, aiming to cleave Li Haoran in two. But Li Haoran was faster, dodging sideways in an instant. He darted toward the butcher's right shoulder, his movements a blur. As the monster turned its head to track him, Li Haoran delivered a powerful kick to its skull. The impact echoed, but the butcher barely flinched. How tough, Li Haoran thought, frustration bubbling beneath his calm exterior. With just punches and kicks, it's hard to hurt him. Spotting a sword embedded in the butcher's back, Li Haoran yanked it free and leapt backward. But midair, a chain shot toward him, wrapping around his body. Just as it began to tighten, Li Haoran activated Crimson Flash, disappearing in a flash of red light and reappearing safely on the ground. That was close, he thought, his heart pounding. These two back each other up. They're really troublesome. But at least I managed to rip a weapon off the butcher's back. He glanced at the deteriorated iron sword in his hand. It's a bit broken, but as long as the fight doesn't drag on, it should be enough. With renewed determination, Li Haoran charged at the butcher. The monster noticed him and swung its sword vertically again. But this time, Li Haoran met the blow head-on. Sparks flew as their weapons clashed. 80% of my attribute points are in strength, Li Haoran muttered through gritted teeth. If it's a direct confrontation, I'm not afraid of him. With a surge of power, he pushed the butcher back, forcing the massive creature to stagger. The butcher, now disoriented, frantically searched for Li Haoran. Where are you looking, idiot? It's already too late. Die! Li Haoran's voice rang out from above. The butcher barely had time to look up before Li Haoran descended like a shadow, driving the sword deep into its skull. The monster let out a guttural roar before collapsing, lifeless. The system notifications chimed in rapid succession. You've leveled up. You've gained 5 attribute points. Please assign them. You've leveled up. You've gained 5 attribute points. Please assign them. Li Haoran stared in disbelief. Did one monster make me level up 2 levels in a row? It's definitely more interesting to fight challenging enemies. Before he could process the victory, another notification flashed. You've reached level 10. You have unlocked a new skill, Blood Interment. This skill invokes a blood swamp in the target area to slow the enemy and fires blood blades to severely wound them. A grin spread across Li Haoran's face, but there was no time to celebrate. Li Haoran stepped off the lifeless body of the first butcher, his confidence radiating as he faced the second. The remaining butcher roared in fury. Li Haoran, his voice cold and taunting. What's wrong? Does it hurt to see your companion die? Your name now appears in green. The butcher's chain lashed out, but Li Haoran dodged it with minimal effort, his movements precise and calculated. The chain recoiled and shot back toward him, but without even turning, Li Haoran ducked as the chain flew right above his head. You've gotten slow, he said, his tone dripping with disdain. Although my combat experience is limited, as a carrier, I've witnessed countless battles. Your movements are easy to predict. It's time to end this. His eyes flashed with intensity as he activated his new skill, Blood Interment. The ground beneath the butcher erupted into a pool of blood. From the crimson pool, jagged spikes of blood shot upward, impaling the monster from every angle. The butcher's body was turned into a porcupine of bloodied spikes, lifeless. As the system notification chimed, you've leveled up. You've gained 5 attribute points. Please assign them. Li Haoran stared at the carnage, momentarily stunned. Even though I had already read the skill's description, seeing it in action is something else. It's definitely a brutal skill. Another notification flashed. You have obtained a new title, Undead Killer. Li Haoran's eyes widened as he read the details. The title system has been activated. The title, Undead Killer, granted him a 5% increase in damage against undead enemies. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the forest, the wind carried a sense of renewal. Li Haoran stood amidst the trees, reviewing his status. His level had risen to 11, a significant leap in just one day. A satisfied smile crossed his face as he muttered, "It was dangerous, but getting this kind of upgrade in such a short time, it's definitely been worth it. If I keep this pace, I'll soon catch up to Chen Zizhen of the superior steel rank." Just as he was about to plan his next move, a new notification caught his attention. Notification: your daily mission has been generated. Complete it on time. Daily mission? Li Haoran's curiosity piqued. What will it be about? If I complete it, I'll surely receive a reward. The system responded almost immediately. Notification: before the next dawn, you must absorb the fresh blood of at least one character of the opposite sex to activate the skill, Blood Fusion. Notice, each character of the opposite sex can only activate Blood Fusion once. If the mission is not completed in time, 5 attribute points will be randomly deducted. Li Haoran stood dumbfounded, his mind racing as he stared at the system notification. The mission was clear: drink the fresh blood of a woman to activate Blood Fusion. But there was a problem. He had already consumed the blood of all the succubi in town the previous day. Now, he was left with no viable options in this forest. Frustration bubbled up, but he realized there were women as he glanced at the lifeless body of a female faceless specter nearby. Desperate times call for desperate measures, he thought, kneeling beside the corpse. He bit into her neck only for the system to immediately reject it. Notification: the target's blood is rotten and cannot activate Blood Fusion. Undeterred, Li Haoran tried again with other faceless specters, but the result was the same. Each attempt was met with the same cold notification. "Of course," he muttered, his frustration boiling over. "The blood of the undead is rotten. What was I thinking?" He realized his aura in anger, realizing his impulsive actions the previous day had left him stranded. "I need women. Where else can I find them?" he shouted, his voice echoing through the forest. Meanwhile, back in the succubus town, Nico lay on Li Haoran's bed, her face buried in his pillow. His scent lingered, and she couldn't help but fantasize about being in his arms. Suddenly, she felt a surge of power, a familiar energy that could only mean one thing. "Li Haoran, he needs me," she said, sitting up abruptly. Without hesitation, she prepared to leave, determined to find him. Elsewhere, a car sped through the forest. Inside were 3 people, 2 men in the front and Li Haoran, the team leader of Hongcheng Corporation's Polar Rose team. In the back, the black-haired driver insisted they were on the right path. "I detected a unique magical energy yesterday. It's coming from a rare mutant beast. Capturing it could mean promotions and raises for all of us," he said confidently. The blonde-haired man beside him frowned. "But what if it's dangerous? We're not exactly prepared for a high-level threat." Li Haoran cut him off, her voice sharp. "Fear has no place in our company. If there's an opportunity, we take it. I'll handle any issues. Now hurry up. Other groups must have sensed the energy too. We can't afford to fall behind." As the car continued its journey, Li Haoran, still desperate, was about to set off on his own search when he heard the rumble of an engine. His eyes narrowed as a car came into view. 2 men stepped out first, and Li Haoran was greatly disappointed. "They likely come to hunt me," he thought. But then, Li Haoran emerged, her presence commanding and her strength palpable. A gold-rank evolved human, he realized, and his hope reignited. She was strong, far stronger than him, but she was also his only chance to complete the mission. The 2 bronze-rank subordinates prepare to attack Li Haoran, but he is already ready. With a swift activation of Crimson Flash, he vanished, reappearing behind Li Haoran in an instant. Before she could react, he restrained her, his grip firm, but not brutal. Her subordinates shouted, demanding he release her, but Li Haoran ignored them. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice with no regret. Then, without hesitation, he opened his mouth, revealing sharp vampire fangs, and bit into her neck. Li Haoran shuddered, her strength momentarily faltering. The system chimed in, saying his strength increased by 1.